What if some of the most hopeful words in all of Scripture were written in the middle of devastation? What if they weren't meant for people who have everything figured out, but for people who are tired, discouraged, or simply trying to make it through one more day? Today we're going to slow down and sit with just two verses from the book of Lamentations, words that don't rush past suffering, but speak directly into it. If you stay with me to the end, I think you may hear them differently than you ever have before. So let's begin by reading the verses slowly. From Lamentations chapter 3, verses 22 and 23. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I hope those words sound familiar to you because the last two lines are part of the hymn, Great is thy faithfulness. Before we explain anything, let's simply sit with the words. You may want to pause the video here and listen to the words again, out loud, slowly, or even just read them for yourself. I'm going to post them here. So welcome back. What is the book of Lamentations? You may have never even heard of it. It's in the last part of the Old Testament among the prophets. Lamentations is not a book of abstract theology. It's a book of grief. It's lamenting. Traditionally, it's attributed to the prophet Jeremiah. Lamentations is written in the aftermath of the destruction of Jerusalem in 586 BC. The city has fallen. The temple has been destroyed. The people of Judah have been killed, scattered, or taken into exile. This is not a moment of confusion about God. It's a moment of pain before God. Lamentations teaches us something very important for Bible study. God allows grief to be spoken in Scripture. The book does not rush to resolution. It doesn't deny suffering. It doesn't pretend everything is fine. And yet, right in the center of this book of sorrow, we find these words about God's faithfulness. At the same time Jeremiah is witnessing Jerusalem's destruction, the prophet Ezekiel is already in exile in Babylon. Ezekiel's role is different but complementary. Jeremiah laments what has been lost. Ezekiel explains why judgment came, and God speaks through both of them. Ezekiel shows us Israel's long pattern of idolatry, their refusal to listen, and God's patience, warnings, and sorrow. But Ezekiel also shows us something else. God's judgment is never the end of the story. Even in exile, God promises restoration, a new heart, a new spirit, a future beyond devastation. So when we read Lamentations from Jeremiah, we are not reading despair without hope. We are reading hope spoken from the ruins. Let me say that again. We're reading hope spoken from the ruins. Stop and think for a moment. Do you ever feel that way in your life? Do you ever feel like your life is just some bombed out city, a bunch of ruined buildings with huge holes in them? Sit there and allow yourself to hope. So now let's walk through these verses phrase by phrase because I want to make sure that we really, really understand them and allow them to seep into our spirits. Through the Lord's mercies, we are not consumed. The Hebrew word translated mercies here is chesed. It is a very rich word. It does not mean a passing feeling of kindness. Chesed means covenant love, faithful love, steadfast love, love that does not abandon. This line does not say, because we were faithful, we survived. It says, because God was faithful, we were not destroyed. This is a humbling statement, and that's important because we can only have faith if we allow ourselves to be humbled and to look at this from a viewpoint of humility. The people of Judah are not claiming innocence. They're acknowledging mercy. If you want to pause and ponder for a moment, go ahead and pause the video. Take your time with this because, like I said, we really want this to become part of our spirit for this journey. Where in your life can you say honestly, I am still here, not because I did everything right, but because God has been merciful? The next part is because his compassions fail not. The word translated compassions comes from the Hebrew rachamim. It's related to the word for womb. This is deeply tender language. It suggests protective love, nurturing care, a bond that does not break. We're talking about the relationship between a mother and her baby. And the verse says these compassions do not fail, not because circumstances are good, but because God's heart does not change. This is extraordinary given the context. Jerusalem lies in ruins, and yet God's compassion has not run dry. So pause the video and take some time to ponder this. Do you believe God's compassion depends on your circumstances or on his character? Let's go on to the next phrase of the verses. They are new every morning. This doesn't mean yesterday didn't matter. It means yesterday didn't exhaust God's mercy. The Hebrew idea here is not dramatic renewal, but faith renewal. God does not say, I will give you mercy for the rest of your life today. He says, I will give you mercy today. And then tomorrow, again, and again, and again. This is a verse for people who wake up tired, for people who carry grief forward, for people who cannot imagine the whole future. You're not asked to survive everything at once. You're given today. So pause the video and ponder, what mercy do you need today? Not for the rest of your life, just for this day. Great is your faithfulness. This is the climax of these verses. Note what the verse does not say. It does not say, great is our faith, great is our obedience, great is our understanding. It says, great is your faithfulness. Faithfulness is not God's reaction to us. It's God's nature. In the ruins of Jerusalem, in exile, in grief, this truth is spoken, not shouted, not celebrated, but confessed. And centuries later, the church still prays it. It's January 9th when you'll be hearing this, at least if you hear it when we first release it. January is often quiet, ordinary, a little thin. That makes this passage perfect for ordinary faith. Not faith that conquers everything at once, but faith that keeps going. If you're watching this on Friday, here are a few simple ways to stay with this scripture over the weekend, and you can apply these on other days of the week as well. On Saturday, when you wake up, say, Lord, your mercies are new this morning. On Sunday, before Mass or prayer or church, repeat quietly, great is your faithfulness. Throughout the day, when something is hard, return to the phrase, not to fix it, but to place it in God's hands. Great is your faithfulness. You might even try memorizing the verses slowly over the rest of January, not as an assignment, but as a companion. As we continue this month together, hold this phrase in your heart. Great is your faithfulness. Let it meet you in provision, uncertainty, fatigue, hope. Different lives, different callings, but the same faithful God.